The story begins on a cliff. We see a man attack an older man with his sword. The older man managed to block the attack. The man was annoyed to see this. The older man smiled and told the younger man that he is impressed. He said that he did not expect him to be able to move like this after receiving a grave injury. He referred to the younger man as the Phantom Swordsman and told him that his mental fortitude fits his title. He told the Phantom Swordsman that the sword techniques he created were amazing. The man tapped his sword and sent the Phantom Swordsman flying. He covered his sword with his internal energy. He told the Phantom Swordsman that he won't be able to use any energy in his current state. He told him it is actually a miracle that he is even able to move in the first place. The man took a stance and told the Phantom Swordsman that he no longer needs to fight. He told him that he can rest. The moment he said this, he fired several energy attacks at the Phantom Swordsman. The Phantom Swordsman managed to stand his ground and block the attacks. Immediately, he blocked the attacks. The man charged at him and landed a kick on his stomach. The attack pushed him down. The man tried to stab him, but he managed to dodge the attack. He used his leg to attack the man. He was able to kick his sword away. He stood up and rushed to attack the man's head. The man was able to dodge his attack by moving his head to the side. The Phantom Swordsman gave him a punch that sent him flying. He landed on the ground. He gathered his energy in his hand and fired it at the Phantom Swordsman. To his surprise, his attack did not land on the Phantom Swordsman. He was no longer in front of him. The man wondered about where the Phantom Swordsman was. Unfortunately for him, the Phantom Swordsman was already above him. The man noticed a shadow above him. However, it was too late for him to react. The Phantom Swordsman managed to land a clean cut on the man. He tore him apart. After the fight was over, we see the Phantom Swordsman sitting with another man. The man seemed to be blind. He asked the Phantom Swordsman if he has killed the old demon head. The Phantom Swordsman said that he has. He said that this bloodbath, which will go down in history as the Shangxi massacre, is now over. The Phantom Swordsman looked at the bodies around him. He referred to them as shitheads. This martial artist appeared out of nowhere. They called themselves the Black Knight Palace. They swept through more than a dozen smaller sects and clans within the last 3 days. The Phantom Swordsman said that the world was able to witness the alliance of the orthodox and unorthodox factions thanks to the Black Knight Palace. The blind man referred to the Phantom Swordsman as Dako Hien. He reminded him about their promise to have a duel after creating their sword techniques. He told the Phantom Swordsman that he won't be able to fulfill the promise. Hien asked him if this is really what he is thinking about while dying. The man laughed when he heard this. He told Hien that they have dedicated their entire lives to the sword. He said that he has fought countless martial artists and witnessed many sword techniques. He told the Phantom Swordsman that he is yet to see a sword technique as hard to deal with and as keen as his own. He told him that his devotion to the sword surpasses that of anyone else's. Due to this, the man wanted to ask Hien for a favor. Hien asked him to tell him. The man begged him to look after his disciple and the Manhwa sect. The Phantom Swordsman was shocked to hear this. He asked the man if he has lost his mind. He asked him if he has forgotten who he is talking to because he is dying. He reminded him that he is the best swordsman of the unorthodox factions. He could not believe that the man was asking him to look after the Manhwa sect. While he was talking, the man gave him a bead. He told Hien that it is the Plum Blossom Spirit bead. He said that it is a relic of his sect. He asked Hien to give it to his sect leader. The Phantom Swordsman was annoyed to hear this. He wanted to yell at the man. He noticed that the man was breathing heavily. He accepted the beads and told the man that he is also on the brink of death. He told him that he is asking too much of him. The man reminded him that they are each other's sword friends, although he felt embarrassed. He told Hien that he is actually grateful. Hien told him that he should be grateful. He told him that he is going to spend the rest of his life in the Manhwa sect thanks to him. The moment he said this, his friend blew up. His hand and different parts of his body splashed all over the place. Hien was shocked to see this. While he was trying to process what just happened, someone fired a blade made out of energy at him. Hien quickly grabbed his sword. With a look of anger on his face, he fired several slashes at the attack. He managed to block it. He also fired several slashes at the person who attacked them. The person easily blocked the attack by simply waving his hand. Hien was shocked to see this. The man gathered his energy in his hands and fired it at our boy. The attack caused a huge explosion. The Phantom Swordsman fell to his knees. He lost one of his arms. He could not believe what he was seeing. He wondered if it was possible for a person to be this strong. He looked around. He wondered if this was the Black Knight Palace Master. He remembered that he already killed the old man. His corpse was still where he left it. He believed that this must be a hidden disciple of the old man or the real Black Knight Palace Master himself. Heian understood that the man was incomparably stronger than the Black Knight Palace Master, but he did not expect the man to take his entire arm even if he has been weakened by his fight with the old man. He could not believe that the man did this with just his demonic energy. Heian apologized to his friend. He told him that he didn't get the chance to take his body back home. He tapped his leg and said that he will try to keep his promise. The mysterious man was surprised to see that Heian managed to stand up. Our boy ran towards the edge of the cliff. Heian did not know if he will be able to survive falling off a cliff after losing the man, but he did not want to give up. He wanted to believe that there was hope. He jumped and turned around. He promised to never forget the man. He told himself that he will take care of the man the next time he sees him. The moment he thought of this, an energy blade tore his body apart. Heian could not comprehend what was happening. All he could see was the lower parts of his body falling down. He also saw the man laughing at him. Heian called him a fucker. He asked him to stop laughing. As he fell off the cliff, Heian apologized to his friend. He told him that he won't be able to keep the promise. Before he lost consciousness, the beads released a bright red light. In the next scene, Heian heard people calling out to him. He could not believe that he survived. Someone called him senior disciple. Our boy was surprised to hear this. When he opened his eyes, the person called out to a man known as Elder Baekjin. He informed him that the senior disciple has opened his eyes. Heian did not know why he was calling him senior disciple. He did not know that he was in a different body. The elder grabbed his head and referred to him as Mu Wai. He told him that he did great. Heian immediately recognized the man. He remembered him as Elder Baekjin of the Manhwa Sect. The elder said that the heavens has blessed them. He said that he actually thought that he was too late, even though he tried acupuncture. The elder called him Mu Wai and asked him to stay still. Heian did not understand why the man kept calling him Mu Wai. He remembered that Mu Wai is the senior disciple of the Mount Hua Sect's second-generation disciples. He is the disciple of his friend whose name is Hyunjo. The Phantom Swordsman did not understand why he was called Mu Wai. He wondered if the old man has lost his mind. While he was thinking, he remembered how the beads were shining. He quickly understood the situation. He said that the light is the issue. The disciple next to him was surprised to hear this. He told him that his wounds have not closed yet. He asked him not to speak. In the next scene, we see Heian stand up. The elder asked him if he is going outside. Heian said that he is. He realized that he almost replied rudely to the elder. The elder told him that it is a good idea to move around a bit. He reminded him that he was bedridden and unable to eat for a week. He asked him not to push himself too hard. Heian stepped out of the building and moved around the area. He went to a pond and used the water to wash his face. He could not believe that only 7 days has passed. He felt like it has been a year. For the past 7 days, Heian dreamed of a life. He dreamt about Mu Wai's life. He saw his entire life and the things he experienced. He saw the 2 decades that the young man lived through. Heian saw how the sect was attacked through Mu Wai's eyes. He saw how the sect was burnt down, how the disciples were killed. They tried to fight back, but a large amount of them were killed. He saw Hyunjo talking to the young man. He saw Hyunjo fighting the Black Knight Palace Master. He saw how Mu Wai got injured while trying to save his fellow disciple. Heian called him an absolute fool. He could not believe that Mu Wai tried to help someone when his body is so weak. He believed that he should have put himself first before anyone. Thanks to the injury he got, Mu Wai died. Heian remembered that the light came from the plum blossom spirit beads. He wondered why he was the one who got reincarnated and why he ended up in this body. He did not understand why Hyunjo wasn't chosen. He wondered if this was also fate. He let out a sigh and stood up. Even if he did not like it, it did not change the fact that he has been given another chance at life. Heian knew that he could not throw away this chance. He promised to find the masked man and cut him up into pieces. Heian knew that the man was stronger than the Black Knight Palace Master. He was certain that he won't have been able to defeat the man even if he wasn't injured. In order to get a chance at beating the man, our boy has to grow stronger than his previous self. As he walked into a building, he remembered Hyunjo asking him to look after his disciple and his sect. He also remembered what Hyunjo told Mu Wai. His friend asked his disciples not to fear. He told them that they will be the ones to protect the sect. Ian took out some books from the shelf and placed them on the table. He asked his friend not to worry. He said that he will fulfill his promise and avenge his death no matter what. In the next scene, we see some men talking to the sect leader. The sect leader asked them if they need to rebuild a total of 8 pavilions. A man told him that they do. He said that the damages grew because they were unable to put out the last ambush's fire in a timely manner. The sect leader told the man known as Baek-san that he assumes that they don't have enough money to cover the damages because of their previous damages. Baek-san told him that he is correct. He revealed to him that profits and visitors will be cut down drastically for a while. The sect leader, whose name is Baekyu, realized that they need to avoid large expenditures. He told Baek-san that it is better if they start with the most important pavilion first. He asked Baek-jin about the disciples' recovery. The man informed him that they are all recovering smoothly. He said that the gravely injured disciples are also doing much better. He asked him not to worry. The sect leader was relieved to hear this. He asked him about how Mu Wai is doing. He believed that the news about Hyunjo would have been shocking for the boy. Baek-jin told the sect leader that our boy actually took it better than he expected. He said that Hyun has healed a lot. He revealed to him that he was walking around yesterday. Baek-san was surprised to hear this. The sect leader was relieved to hear this. He said that it is good that Hyun is taking it well. He asked Baek-jin to still check up on him once in a while. He reminded him about the kind of child Mu Wai is. He said that he is worried that the boy is just pretending to be all right. He hoped that the boy was going to get through it. The scene shifts, and we see our boy reading in his room. While reading, he remembered talking to his friend when he visited the sect. He and Hyunjo were watching the disciples train. Hyunjo asked Hyun about how the disciples are. Hyun asked him about what he means. The man asked him to tell him what he thinks of the disciples. Hyun told his friend that they are useless. Hyunjo agreed with him. He said that the Manhwa sect is currently regressing. According to the man, the sword technique is the pinnacle of variability and illusions that brings the plum blossoms into bloom, and they fool themselves into thinking it is of perfection. Hyunjo asked his friend if he is aware of the future that awaits a sect that is incapable of reflecting and developing new paths. Hyun said that the sect will experience its downfall. Hyunjo told him that he is right. He told him that there is no use trying to force change. Hyun told him that he would try to force change if he was in his position. He asked him if he has another idea. Hyunjo said that he will show the disciples that the plum blossom sword technique is not all there is. He said that he will show them that there is a higher realm that they can reach. Hyun asked his friend if this is the reason why he came up with the promise to create their own sword techniques and duel with them in the future. Hyunjo reminded our boy that he has reached his current realm by renovating various martial arts techniques. He said that he assumed that it will be possible for him, since he is the best swordsman in the unorthodox faction. When Hyun first saw the disciples of the sect, he thought that the problem was with the sect. They are called a renowned sect, and yet they were unable to put out anyone talented for the last 100 years except Hyunjo. Hyun realized that this was a foolish assumption. He had only seen the entry-level martial arts, such as the six-fold combo circulation technique and the six-fold combo sword technique. Both of these techniques are flawless. Martial arts techniques become more powerful with time as it goes through the hands of other people. This is the power of a sect. The Manhwa sect hit a wall because it was too great. Hyun realized that his friend wanted to show the disciples the determination to get through the wall by introducing them to a new realm. He decided to complete the new sword techniques that Hyunjo was not able to complete as a way to compromise on the promise they made. He realized that the sword techniques will have to be only and wholly belong to the sect. It can't just be the form and movements of the sect. It also has to have the intentions of the Manhwa. In order to do this, our boy needed to enlighten himself on the teachings of the sect, starting from the very basics. After this, he can then go to Hyunjo's sword techniques. Hyun sat in a lotus position and circulated his energy around his body. He wanted to erase all the martial arts and teachings that Mu Wai learned. Even if they are trying to learn the same techniques, the interpretations and lessons learned by them will be different. Hyun could not accept what Mu Wai learned as his. Our boy knew that he could not underestimate the practice just because it is the basics. Hyun was using the autumn flower circulation technique. He noticed that the speed of the technique did not fall behind the ghost arts. It was also very stable. In his past life, Hyun only sought efficiency, and he used unorthodox sword techniques. The The sword techniques of the Manhwa are different. Our boy believed that he can learn something completely different from this. He realized that the life of the phantom swordsman who only cared about the sword is now over. He decided to live as Mu Wai from now. The scene shifts, and we see one of the disciples knock on Hien's door. He referred to him as senior disciple and asked him if he is inside. Hien did not reply immediately. The boy continued knocking. Our boy was forced to open his eyes. He looked very tired. He stepped out of the room to see the person at the door. He recognized the boy as Mu Chiol. He asked him about why he came. The boy informed him that he came to check on him because it has been 3 days since he left the Harmony Medicine Palace, and yet he has not been to the morning training sessions. Hien was surprised to hear that it has been 3 days. He remembered that they said that he wasn't able to eat properly for 7 days. He was reminded of the time when he was trapped in the Blood Tempest Sect's inescapable net tactic. He told Mu Chiol that he didn't know that so much time has passed. He asked him to direct him to the training ground. As he walked down the stairs, Mu Chiol carefully looked at his senior. He could tell that something was different about Mu Wai. Our boy actually wanted to get a good drink to satisfy his thirst. At the training ground, we see a boy with long hair directing the other disciples. The other disciples were copying his movements. He asked a boy known as Mu Ryan to raise his arm higher. The boy accepted the order and quickly corrected himself. Hien watched the disciples as they trained. He realized that they were still as terrible as ever. Their feet kept moving when it shouldn't because they were not able to maintain balance. This further worsens the weight balance. They are also unable to add strength into their attacks because of this. Their posture was bad too. They were completely lacking in basics. Hien believed that it was a complete mess. Fortunately, the instructor wasn't actually bad. Our boy remembered that the boy's name is Mu Jin. He was relieved that there is at least one proper disciple. The boy was actually correcting them well. He was like a senior disciple to the second-generation disciples. Hien wondered why this boy was doing something that the senior disciple should be doing. He believed that the owner of the body must have had a really shy personality. He was also lacking in martial arts and leadership skills. However, Mu Jin was different. He knew how to lead people. He has a calm personality, and he has shown great potential ever since he was young. It makes sense that a lot of the disciples listened to him. It is natural for those with talents and skills to be given opportunities. Mu Jin has the skills and the personality, so Hien did not have any issues with him taking on the role of senior disciple. Of course, this has to change now. After Mu Jin was done with the training, he put his hand together and told them that it is over for today. The disciples were quite tired. They felt like Mu Jin has been a lot stricter recently. While they were talking, they all noticed their senior. They greeted him and asked him if he is all right. Hien told them that he is fine. One of them noticed something about him. She felt like something about her senior was different. Mu Jin walked down the stairs to greet his senior. He told him that he wasn't able to greet him properly because he was in the middle of training. Hien noticed that the boy did not fully walk down the stairs. It is disrespectful to stand above your senior while talking. He told the boy that it must be hard for him to do something that he should be doing. Mu Jin bowed his head and told our boy that he is thankful that he allowed him to do it. Hien informed the boy that he will be doing it from now on. Mu Jin was surprised to hear this. The other disciples could not believe what they were hearing. Mu Chiol realized that he was right. He thought that he was being sensitive before. He became certain that his senior has changed. Mu Jin reminded our boy that he was the one who asked him to do it before. Hien asked the boy if there is something wrong with him choosing to take on his responsibility again. Mu Jin told him that he asked him to do it because he didn't have the confidence that he will be able to carry out the job properly. Hien smiled when he heard this. He realized that this idiot wants to become the head disciple. The head disciple is a disciple that has the ability to succeed the role of sect leader. Currently, there are very few first-generation disciples because of the Shangxi massacre. The remaining first-generation disciples and the elders are busy with the reconstruction of the sect. In order to change the Manhwa sect, it will be more efficient to change the second-generation disciples because they are the future of the sect. It is much easier to do this rather than trying to change the minds of the elders and the first-generation disciples. On top of this, there is also the purple aura circulation technique. This is a technique that only the sect leader and the head disciple of the sect can learn. It is one of the top 10 circulation techniques when it comes to powerful internal energy. Hien needs this technique in order to surpass his past self. He needed to become the head disciple. Our boy knew that Mu Jin would be shocked to hear that he has to leave the job. Mu Jin asked Hien if he believes that he has the right. He asked him to tell him what he did when the Black Knight Palace invaded their sect. Mu Chiol was shocked to hear this. He quickly called out to the boy. Mu Jin told Hien that he did not listen when the elders asked him to stay put. He asked him if he remembers what happened. He asked him if he killed anyone from the Black Knight Palace. He asked him if he saved the elders and the others. He told him that he only managed to burden the elders. Hien smiled when he heard this. The boy reminded him that other disciples also copied him and rushed to fight. He said that many people would have died if the first-generation disciples hadn't risked their lives to protect them. Hien told the boy that he is right. He told him that he agrees with him. Mu Jin grit his teeth when he heard this. Our boy told him that he intends to take responsibility as the senior disciple. Mu Jin asked him to tell him how they are supposed to trust him. Hien told the boy that he has misunderstood something. He walked up the stairs and moved close to him. Mu Jin asked him to tell him what he misunderstood. With a menacing look on his face, Hien told the boy that he doesn't have to look up to him. He asked Mu Jin if he sounds like someone who is trying to convince him. He told him that he does not need his permission for the choices he makes. He asked Mu Jin to put himself together. He told him that he is notifying him and not trying to convince him. Mu Jin became nervous. He wondered if the man standing in front of him was truly the senior disciple that he knew. Hien told the boy that he will take over morning training starting tomorrow. He asked Mu Jin to come see him if he has any complaints after tomorrow's training. He asked the boy not to be too upset. Mu Jin told his senior that he seems like a completely different person. Hien told the boy that people change when they come back from the brink of death. The disciples did not understand what was happening. They wondered if their senior disciple will really take over the training. One of the disciples called out to Mu Ryan. The boy said that Mu Jin is going to allow the senior disciple to take over. The boy next to Mu Ryan told him that Mu Jin was really mad before, and now he has calmed down. He told him that he couldn't hear their conversation. Mu Ryan told his friend that Mu Jin must have backed off out of kindness. He said that he is worried because he knows the senior's skill level. His friend told him that they can do the same thing. Mu Ryan asked him about what he means. The boy suggested that they talk to Hien. At night, we see the boy and his friend walk up to our boy's door. When they knocked on the door, Hien asked them about why they came. The boys told him that they want to talk to him. They said that they have something to say to him that the others can't hear. Hien grabbed his sword. He said that he is curious to know what they want to talk about so late in the night. When Hien stepped out of the room, the boys were shocked to see him holding a wooden sword. He was not a person who would do this. Mu Ryan's friend told our boy that he wants him to take back what he said today. He told him that Mu Jin only backed off because he wanted to help him preserve his image. Hien said that this is interesting. He asked the boy if Mu Jin was the one who sent them. The boy told him that they came on their own will. Our boy told him that he has no say on the matter. He asked him to go back. He told him that he will pretend that he didn't hear what he said. The boy called out to Hien. He begged him to consider their perspective. He told him that they are not doing this because they don't like him. He said that they simply want to be taught by someone who is actually skilled. He asked our boy to take a look at himself. He told him that his skills are subpar. He told him that he is being greedy. The boy next to him told Hien that they won't accept a leader who is beneath them. With a terrifying tone in his voice, Hien said that the Mount Hwa's hierarchy has degraded. He told the boys that he understands what they mean. He told them that he will prove his skills to them since they doubt him. He asked them to wield their swords. The other boy asked Hien if he is serious. Our boy told them that he is. Mu Ryan's friend drew out his sword and charged at him. He asked him not to regret it later on. Our boy easily knocked the boy's sword out of his hand and used his sword hilt to hit his neck. The boy fell to the ground and struggled to catch his breath. His friend also charged at Hien. With a single swing of his sword, he knocked the boy's sword out of his hand and sent him flying. Mu Ryan's friend told our boy that they lost. Hien asked him not to state the obvious. He grabbed the boy's clothes and told him that it is time for the two of them to be taught a lesson. The boy was shocked to hear this. He realized that he messed up. After beating them up, Hien asked them if he has satisfied their requirements. The boys told him that he has. He asked the boys to remind him about what he said he will do if other disciples try to gang up on him again. The boys said that he told them that they will also receive a beating alongside those disciples. Hien asked Mu Ryan's friend if he is weaker than Mu Jin. The boy told him that he is much stronger than Mu Jin. He asked the other boy if he still believes that he is weaker than other disciples. The boy told him that he does not. Hien told the boys that he will forget what happened today. He said that everyone makes mistakes. He asked the boys to go back and rest. He told them that the morning training will soon begin. The idiots bowed their heads and thanked him for his mercy. They held on to each other and slowly walked down the stairs. After the boys left, Hien asked someone who was watching about how long he plans to continue hiding. He asked the person to come out. The person came out. He asked Hien if he knew he was there. The person turned out to be Muchiol. Our boy told him that it is impossible for him not to know that someone of his size was hiding. He asked the boy about why he was hiding. Muchiol explained to him that he saw Mu-san and Mu-ho coming to his place. Hien wondered about who Mu-san and Mu-ho were. Muchiol said that he followed them just in case they wanted to try something. He told Hien that he did not expect him to win against them. Our boy realized that Muchiol was referring to the boys. Muchiol asked Hien if he has been hiding his true skills all this time. From what Hien observed, the second-generation disciples fall into two categories. There are those who maintain their distance from Mu-wai while showing him the respect that he deserves, and there are those who discreetly look down on him and speak poorly about him. However, Muchiol did not belong to any of these categories. He has actually helped Mu-wai a lot. Although he has a rather blunt and indifferent personality, Hien wondered about why the boy helps Mu-wai. He believed that Mu-wai did not understand the reason because he was young when he was in his body. Hien knew that there was a simple reason why the boy behaved like this. The reason Muchiol is willing to help Mu-wai is because Mu-wai is weak to the point where he actually needs help. Muchiol was worried that Hien might get injured by Mu-san and Mu-ho, so he followed them there to make sure that our boy will be alright. Hien realized that Muchiol has always protected Mu-wai all this time. He knew that he had to make a somewhat believable excuse. He told Muchiol that he wasn't hiding his strength. He said that he simply reached a new realm of understanding. Muchiol was surprised to hear this. Hien told the boy that he will talk about what he has learned during the morning training. He told him that it is late. He asked him to go back. Muchiol accepted his order. He watched Hien as he walked towards his door. He was certain that the technique our boy used was the six-fold combo sword technique, which is a beginner-level technique. However, the technique was executed in the most beautiful manner that the boy has ever seen. He wondered about where Hien learned it from. He always thought that our boy was extremely weak, but now he has changed. Muchiol looked forward to morning training. Although he lied about reaching a new realm, Hien began to wonder about how he was going to explain it. The scene shifts, and we are taken to the disciples' hostel. The boys told Mu-ryan that they were beaten by their senior. They said that he is not the senior disciple that they knew. They told him that he was a completely different person. Mu-ryan's friend told him that they cannot act rashly. He told him that they almost died. Mu-ryan stood up. He asked the boys to stop spouting nonsense. He asked them to go get ready for morning training. The two boys stood up and supported each other. The other boy told his friend that he hopes that Mu-ryan doesn't try anything against our boy. Mu-ryan's friend told him that he hopes Mu-ryan is beaten to a pulp. Mu-jin saw the boys injured. He asked Mu-ryan if something is wrong. He told him that Mu-san and Mu-ho look terrible. The boy said that it is nothing much. He explained to him that the boys didn't like the fact that the senior disciple will be leading morning training sessions. He told Mu-jin about everything that happened. Mu-jin said that he will scold the boys later. Mu-ryan was shocked to hear this. He asked his friend for his reason. Mu-jin said that our boy can only stand up for himself now. He told him that the senior disciple will back off once he realizes that he is not fit for the position. He told his friend that there is no point in doing stuff like this behind his back. He said that he is ashamed. Mu-ryan told him that they were just worried. Mu-jin asked him to stop talking. He told him that he knows what they are worried about. He told him that he will take care of the matter himself. He asked him not to concern himself with it. The next day, everyone came to the training ground. Our boy was at the top of the stairs. He told them that he has a few things to say before they begin. Mu-jin wondered about how someone can change so much overnight. He took a look at Mu-san's body. He wondered if our boy has been hiding his skills. He did not expect him to be able to injure Mu-san and Mu-ho to this extent. He wondered if Muchiol was the one who helped him. He decided to be patient. He was certain that he will soon get the truth. He believed that he will be able to tell whether Hien was bluffing or not depending on how the training goes. Mu-jin told the disciples that they are all weak. He said that there are many reasons why a person is strong, but there is only one reason for weakness, and this is the basics. Our boy revealed to them that they will only practice the sixfold combo during morning training from now on. The disciples were shocked to hear this. Heian told them that he understands that they want to get through the basics and move on to higher level techniques. Someone asked him if there is something wrong with this. Heian stopped talking when he heard this. The other disciples quickly turned around. The person who spoke turned out to be Mu Ryan. The boy asked Heian if there is something wrong with wanting to learn things faster. The boy believed that he should challenge Heian since his fellow disciples did not have the courage to do it. Mu San and Mu Ho were shocked to see what their friend was doing after they warned him. Heian could not believe that this is a renowned sect. He asked Mu Ryan to come up if he has any complaints. As Mu Jin watched his friend climb the stairs, he wondered about what he was thinking. The idiot smiled confidently as he walked up the stairs. He told Heian that he understands what he is saying. He said that he doesn't think it is a good idea to live the training under his leadership, especially if mastering the sixfold combo sword technique is as important as he said. He told our boy that everyone already knows the level of his martial arts. Heian said that everyone knows that his martial arts is terrible. He told the boy that he must have thought that he should be the one to prove that his martial arts is terrible since no one wanted to do anything. He asked Mu Ryan if this is what he is trying to say. Our boy told him that it is fine. He said that he wasn't expecting everyone to just accept him from the beginning. Heian turned to the disciples. He announced that he will not take a single step from where he is standing. He said that he will block Mu Ryan using the sixfold combo sword technique. The disciples were shocked to hear this. Our boy told them that Mu Ryan will win if he takes a step or if Mu Ryan's sword manages to touch him. He said that he will take back what he said about teaching the sixfold combo sword technique, and he will stop leading the morning training if Mu Ryan wins. Mu Ryan told his senior disciple that he is too full of himself just because he beat Mu San. Heian told the boy that he doesn't know what he is talking about. He said that Mu San and Mu Ho must have sustained some serious injuries somehow. Mu Ryan asked Heian not to hate him too much even if he loses in front of all these disciples. Our boy told him that he won't. He advised the idiot not to cross the line. Mu Ryan charged at Heian. He attacked him at a decent speed. Our boy easily blocked his attack. The boy tried to attack him in different places, but Heian easily blocked the attacks. The disciples were shocked to see this. Mu Ryan increased his speed and attacked faster, but Heian was still able to block the attacks. He changed his stance and increased his speed again. The other disciples were shocked to see him using the concentrated wind sword. It is a technique known for its speed. It is a technique that Mu Ryan can use best out of all the second-generation disciples. Mu Chiol noticed that Mu Ryan has gotten faster since the last time he saw him use the technique. Despite the fact that he has gotten faster, Heian was blocking the technique with ease. Our boy told Mu Ryan that he needs to use more strength in his shoulders when dealing with him compared to the other second-generation disciples. He told the idiot that he is less terrible than the others. He asked him if he has anything better. Mu Ryan grit his teeth out of anger. Although he was frustrated, he didn't actually have anything better than this. He wondered about what he should do. The other disciples wondered if this is really the senior disciple that they know. They noticed that his leg hasn't moved at all and his balance hasn't shaken at all. Mu Jin could not believe what he was seeing. Mu Ryan realized that it is already over for him. He did not know how he was going to recover from this. He showed everyone Heian's skills, but not in the way he wanted. He wondered about how his senior managed to improve this much. Our boy told him that he is not strong. He explained to him that a sword should not be swung with two arms. Instead, it should be swung with the entire body. Due to this, the most important thing when it comes to swinging a sword is the feet. Heian told the boy that if he overlooks the fact that he has to utilize his feet because he is too focused on swinging and stabbing, his sword will become useless. He explained to Mu Ryan that he is not fully healed yet, and he was still able to block all his attacks. He told the boy that this is how useless his technique is. He told him that he is not just talking to him. He asked the boy if he now understands why they need to start from the basics. Mu Ryan was surprised to hear this. Heian noticed that the boy was just staring. He assumed that the boy did not understand what he was saying. He raised his sword up and told him that he will show him what it means to swing a sword with his entire body. Mu Ryan was shocked to see this. He said that he didn't say anything. Unfortunately for him, Heian knocked him out before he could say anything else. The other disciples were shocked to see this. Our boy called out to Mu Ho and Mu San. He asked them to come up there and carry Mu Ryan to the Harmony Medicine Palace. The boys immediately ran up at full speed. Heian asked the other disciples to raise their swords. He told them that if they do not raise their swords, he will assume that they have complaints about his method. He said that they can come up anytime if they have any complaints. The disciples quickly raised their swords. Heian said that nobody seems to have a problem with him. He told the disciples that he will begin the morning training. He told Muchiol that he put a good amount of strength into his move, but he is too rigid. Our boy called out to someone known as Manhwa and asked the person to pay attention to their step. He told the person that their sword is shaking. The person quickly accepted his correction. Heian remembered talking to Hyunjo in the past. He told his friend that Manhwa is the worst disciple in the sect. He asked Hyunjo if Manhwa possesses a hidden talent that he can't see. He asked him about why he chose the boy as his disciple. Hyunjo told Heian that the boy is actually very normal, but he has never seen him give up on anything. Our boy asked him if he chose Manhwa only based on his determination. Hyunjo explained to him that the other talented disciples reach enlightenment regarding their martial arts on their own. However, this is not the case for Manhwa. Hyunjo told his friend that to create a martial master out of an ordinary person is the duty of a mentor and the essence of martial arts. Heian actually wanted to pick out a few talented disciples and train only them. However, he is no longer the Phantom Swordsman. He is now the senior disciple. He is now a man who leads the second-generation disciples of the Manhwa sect. He cannot leave a single person behind, and he has to stick together with them till the very end. Heian believed that this was the most fitting thing for Manhwa and the sect. Our boy actually never properly taught the disciples he had in his past life. Yet he suddenly has to train this guys from rock bottom. Having disciples was a lot more annoying than he anticipated. Heian hoped that Hyunjo will buy him a good drink if they ever meet again after his death. Our boy called out to Mujin. He asked him if he is tired. He asked him to put more strength into his moves. While thinking, our boy thought about someone. He hoped the person was doing well. Heian was always focused on bettering himself. He never tried teaching anyone well. He wondered if the person is eating well. He was certain that the person won't lose in a fight, so he believed that he will be doing well. He hoped to see the man again someday. Guys, we have come to the end of our video. If you guys want more of this recap, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button for more recaps. See you guys later.